Hello, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to combat stage fright and master the stage. Master the podium. It's very important that you learn how to deal with the fear of public speaking. The fear of public speaking has made a lot of people miss out from opportunities that has presented themselves to them in time past. Why? Because they are so afraid of speaking in the public. And in this video, I will share with you some of the things that you need to know about fear of public speaking and how to go about it. Then I will wrap it up by sharing with you some vital knowledge and information on how to master the podium. You also need to understand that another name for the fear of public speaking is glossophobia, or you can also call it speech anxiety. This is something that has dealt with people. I read an article online recently about the fear of public speaking, and that article was written by verywellmind.com, and they said that 77% of human population suffer from the anxiety that regards to public speaking. Let me say that again. Verywellmind.com said, and I quote, that 77% of the population of the world suffer from anxieties that regard to public speaking. This simply means that a lot of people are so afraid of speaking in public. I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why so many people are afraid of speaking in public. But before then, you also need to know that these anxieties are in stages. There are people who have overcome a great number of it. There are people who are at the bottom at the bottom of the ladder. There are people who are above and they are overcoming it. So you need to, on consistent basis, start paying attention to why you are afraid of public speaking. You start putting actions to ensure that your desires are coming to pass. All right. So now the question rings: why do some people fear public speaking? Why are some people so afraid of speaking in the public? I'm going to share with you some of the reasons behind this just now. The first is that some people are afraid of public speaking simply because of their natural inclinations. What do I mean by this? You will agree with me that if you've come across the kinds of temperaments that human beings possess, which includes the sanguine, the melancholy, the cholerics, and the phlegmatic, you will agree with me that those who are at the down ladder, the lower part of the ladder, which is the phlegmatic, they are so quiet and reserved kind of people, and they don't love to talk in public. This is their natural inclination because they do not know, they did not sign for that when they were coming to the earth. But I've established in a previous video that public speaking can be learned. I've also established that no matter the stage of your public speaking activeness, there is always this nervousness. Yes, everybody who wants to learn how to speak in public can actually learn it, depending on your ability to work and to put actions into place. So I just shared with you that natural inclinations can be a reason why people fear public speaking. I remember there are people who, when they are asked to speak in public, they know what they want to talk about. They have it. They have the knowledge. In fact, if you engage them one-on-one, you will agree with me that they have content. But because of their natural inclinations and they have not worked on the ability to speak, they cannot. You see them rejecting. Number two, a lot of people think that if they speak in public, they are going to bore their audience. So they are so much afraid of boring their audience, where you are speaking and people are sleeping, people are dozing off and all that. Some people have that mindset that they cannot do better than to bore their audience. So they rather stay in their shells than to move in and speak in the public. which is a mindset issue and should be worked on. Again, one of the reasons why people fear public speaking is because they have inadequate knowledge and experience to back up what they want to speak about. You will agree with me that if you want to talk about things like oil and gas, if you want to talk about parenting, if you want to talk about anything, there is need for a level of knowledge before you can be able to authoritatively speak about it. But if you do not have such level of knowledge, then there is a problem. And a lot of people who understand that they do not have that knowledge, and when questions are thrown at them, they are bound to falter. They become so afraid of speaking in public. And that is also a mindset issue, because you can also learn, you can also gain the knowledge, and you can also gain the experience over time. All right, so it's important that if you want to speak in public and you want to be honored as a speaker, you need to go for knowledge. I am getting to that very soon. Some other people are so afraid of being laughed at. You know, when you make a mistake in the crowd and people are saying, I'm remembering something now. A lot of people, have you ever seen where a child comes or someone comes to do presentations and they start faltering? They start making mistakes. Sometimes maybe they've crammed what they want to say and they forget it. And, battling with the microphone and trying to get back their thoughts together, people will start clapping. That kind of clap is called mockery. That kind of clap, people are trying to, cheer you up, but that's the negative part of it. A lot of people are so fearful about that. But one thing you should understand is that mistakes abound. A lot of people who speak so well in public at this time, they have made so many mistakes, and the truth is that they learn each time from their mistakes. If you are if you do not want to make mistakes and you're so hiding from making mistakes, the truth is that you will not learn anything. If you don't want to speak because you're making mistakes, you will not learn anything. You will keep being there dormant and stagnant. So it's important that you go, but be prepared enough. Very important. Be prepared enough. And even in your preparedness, if mistakes come up, face it and learn from it. Very, very vital. Finally, one of the reasons why people fear public speaking is because they don't want to have what we call shivering body and chattering teeth. When they get up to the stage, there is always a tendency that if you've not learned the art of public speaking, you will have shivering body, your body everywhere. I saw a video recently of a young guy who was to defend this project. And some few of them were in uniform, students in Nigeria were in uniform, and they were standing to defend. You see this guy, all over his body, it was as if people poured water on him. But he was sweating profusely. He was sweating, he was shivering. And that's one of the things that happen to some people who are still coming up. And some people who know that there is this tendency in them. So much fear public speaking. But why will you fear if you know that this is important for you? You have to face your fear. So I'm going to share with you some of the symptoms of this glossophobia, some of the symptoms of being fearful of public speaking. Number one is that there is an increased rate in the heart rate, as if something is happening. The person's heart is beating so increasingly when he is called upon to say something in the public. Another person may sweat. Some other people will be sweating. You see their palms sweating, sometimes beneath their legs, beneath their foot, sweating, their armpit everywhere, they are sweating, their faces, you will see it. They use towel a couple of times, a lot of times before they can be stabilized, all right? Some other people start having difficulties in breathing because it looks as if something is choking them, all right, while they are speaking, and that's a symptom. Some other people have this urge to always, they frequent urination. They just want to use the restroom all the time because, especially when, let's say, they know that it's their turn, their time to speak is coming close. They want to frequent the toilet and the restroom and the convenience because they are so afraid. That's a sign of nervousness. Some people start to shiver. Some other people have what we call dry mouth. Now, these symptoms can be overcome if you follow these steps that I'm going to share with you right away. How to overcome the fear of public speaking or stage fright, whichever word you want to use for it, or maybe it's glossophobia or speech anxiety. Number one is that it's important to be knowledgeable. It's important for you to learn. Some people do not speak well in public because they don't have the knowledge that's what they are supposed to convey. Confidence sometimes comes when you know what you want to say. So you can boldly stand and declare what you have because you know it. And if there are questions that come around that angle, you can answer it because you are well studied. So learn, be knowledgeable, gain knowledge, acquire knowledge. Sometimes you also need to be versatile because you cannot enclave yourself in one subject. You need to learn different other things as it pertains life because they are going to help you become a better person. Again, you need to practice, and that is true, that is real. You need to practice. Practice, they say, makes perfect. If you want to become good in public speaking, you need to learn how to effectively practice the art of public speaking. Practice eye contact, practice gesticulation, practice in front of a mirror, write your speech and read it out to yourself, talk to yourself, and become better on a daily basis. Now, you also need to understand that this is not a rocket science. So even while you were growing, there is need for you to follow the process. What am I trying to point out? That there is always a process. And you cannot get into what your desires are overnight. So practice and practice and practice and practice. It's also important that you speak about things that you've gained the authority to speak about. You know, I talked about your message, understanding what your message is in the last video. Now, this message has to do with what you've gained the right and the authority to speak about. And you can gain this right and authority to speak about something in two major ways. Number one is by your experience. Maybe you've experienced this. Maybe you've been where these things happen. Maybe it happened to you even. Maybe there is a mistake you made and you don't want people to make that mistake. You've gained the right to teach about it. Number two is by going for knowledge. So go to learn, attend conferences, attend certificate trainings. Sometimes what is very important is not the certificate actually, but in some cases it's also important. So pay for trainings and learn, and make learning a lifelong process, not just something you do and it ends there. It's a lifelong process. The next thing I want to share with you is that you need to visualize your speech. Now, I do this almost all the time. When I am invited to speak, I put myself in that mood of speaking and speaking on the topic I'm giving to. Maybe the speaking engagement is 3 weeks ahead, or 4 or 1 more, even 2 weeks. I look at myself, visualize myself speaking to that number of crowd in that environment where I've been told that is a venue, or maybe if it's online, using the same platform I've been told, I visualize it. It helps me to bring out thoughts that will help my audience to get better, that will help me to add value to my audience. It's very important. Then know what your audience wants, what they need to become successful, you're not being invited to speak, or you're not being given platform to speak because you know how to speak. I've said it before that talking is cheap, but speaking is value. It's value that you're supposed to add to them, and you need to know what they need before you can be able to add that value to them. I'll talk more about this when we get to the module that talks about audience analysis. Second to the last point that I want to bring out to you is that you do not let your audience, when you're speaking to them, know how nervous you are. How do I mean? A lot of people will get to the platform, get to the podium, get to the stage to speak, and they begin to shake, they begin to tell their audience, sorry, I'm a bit nervous, sorry, and all that. No, you don't do that, because they don't even know how nervous you are. If you're feeling butterfly in your belly, they don't know, because you are the expert here. You're the one who they want to listen to. You are the one who have been advertised, and then they want to hear from you. So you cannot come and give a below standard impression. All right, that brings me to the last thing I want to share with you on how to deal with the fear of public speaking. Give an amazing impression at the first time, and even subsequently. Every time you appear, every time you show up, give an amazing impression. Let people see you and say, wow, this person has an awesome personality. All right, an amazing, great personality, and they want to associate with you. By so doing, you are building your confidence, and you can talk to anybody, you can speak in any crowd, because you've invested in your personality, you've invested in creating amazing impressions, which in turn makes people view you as a great personality. Do not show them a beggarly attitude. Do not show them a scattered personality. Do not show them someone who is confused. Show them someone who knows what he is doing and what he is speaking about.